Hello again, and thank you for joining Jeff and Jenny's Classic Restorations. Well, we're back with the Suzuki again today. I did do a little bit a few days, well, about a week ago. I'm struggling a little bit with time again. I will just show you those little clips first of all, and then we'll move on to what I've done so far today, which is still not going very well. I'll show you those little clips, and then I'll come back to you as we are now. So come and have a look at the Suzuki. It's completely stripped down now with the engine. Take while the engine is out. So come and have a look, and I'll just carry on from when I finished those earlier on this morning. Well, before we move on to other things, I just thought I'd show you this. I think I mentioned it in the last lawnmower video that I'd ordered a new old stock Petcock, a fuel Petcock. And I say, I haven't told the wife, but it did cost quite a bit. But I just thought, well, I can't get any spare parts for this really. I have got the sort of spare diaphragms, but how you split it apart, I don't know, without damaging it. And then of course the O-ring had cracked up inside that seals it off, so I can't find the right size of that either. Nothing seems to tally. So I've bitten the bullet, and it's a brand new old stock Petcock. So I would have done this, I've got to go to work today, but I would have done this a few days ago, but I was just waiting for these extra little clips to come so I can, you know, make it extra better fit. So all I need to do now is just make sure I get these connected to the right ones. It does stay on there. This is the vacuum one, but that just slips on there, that's easy enough. And then the other one, bottom one there, is out, so that's the one that goes to the carburetor. And then we've got one that says reserve, which is this one I think, and then we've got on, which would be the higher one on the tank. So I'll just get on and do this because I'll probably mess this up if I try and film and doing this at the same time, but it's quite straightforward. It does tell you on there which ones are what, and I'll just get all these joined up, and then with these extra better clips on there now to hold these on. So I'll be back to you once it's all fitted. Right, so that's on nicely now. Lucky enough I had bought those clips. This one was a little bit too tight to get the clip on, but I did have it leaking a little bit before on the old one, so I've just put a little small Jubilee clip in there, as I've got one there as well. Whilst I had this off to do all this last week, I've painted the mud guard and cleaned up the rubber bit, the guard at the front, and that's all been done, so that can go back when I'm ready. So yeah, so I just thought I'd show you that briefly. This old one, wherever it is, if I can get the bits and pieces for that and get those diaphragms and a little O-ring in there and clean it up, you'll probably be able to get £60 maybe for it, but of course it has to be working, doesn't it, because they're quite so very rare. So there we are, brand new one. So right, so we'll move on. It'll be another day now, but I just thought I'd do this in between work, and then when I'm off we can get on and do some more. Right, well that was a couple of weeks ago. We're now on plan G, I think. As you can see, obviously I've had to take the engine out. I've done this quite quickly yesterday. I'd like to have filmed all this, but I just wanted to get on with it. I will put a link up at the end of me taking out the engine on the previous Suzuki FZ50 orange one that was in the fire. So let me, well, just quickly show you here. The engine is, well, as you can see, it's off. It's jacked up on axle stands on here for the time being. So I've actually come to the last conclusion, what could be the reason. As I mentioned, on the carburetor side where the air is supposed to be sucked in, there was a slight blow there rather than suction. So I'll come to the conclusion that it could well be this seal, crankshaft seal. Now I have ordered bearings for both sides and everything, but I've been reading a few things up and looking up a few things on YouTube. Now over this side the gearbox is normally full of oil, so that is always lubricated, that side, but this side
because it stood for 40 years, my feeling is that it dried out, and then when you go to start it again, it might have damaged the rubber seal. I have checked everything, it's all smooth, the bearings, there's no play or anything. So lucky enough, on this side you can actually just get this seal out from this side, so I'll probably have a go at doing that later. And I thought, well, whilst it is out, because I chucked all oil over it when I first done it, I thought I'd take it out, clean it all up. I have gone over and cleaned it all, but it just can't get any shine on this. This was never painted when it was new. But obviously this was, which, as you know, I've had a little bit of a rub down here. I've got bits of white everywhere, but or silver, whatever it is. So my plan is we're going to try and get that bearing, that seal out, because I haven't got the new bits yet. I do have a gasket for this, so I'm probably going to take this out today, and we'll sand that down and powder coat that. The stand, it needs to be powder coated, but it's not terrible at the moment, so I'm just going to leave that as a support for it. So in a moment we're just going to try and see if we can get this bearing seal out. Everything else seems to be fine. As I say, there's no movement in there, no noise. I just think because that's been standing for 40 years, that'll all dry out around there, and maybe it's damaged the seal, so it's just allowing a little bit of air in, which is now blowing back up slightly. There is a suction on there, but I think it's not perfect, so I reckon that's why the engine is not too happy. So it's actually, that's why when I put the air filter on, it's not happy with it at all, because it's just for air. So we'll have a go at trying to get this seal out in a minute, and see how we get on with that. I just had a closer look at this seal with the torch. Just up there, you can see there's a little bit of seepage of oil around there. So as I say, I think it could be that seal. I had literally planned to break the crankcase apart and do the bearings, and they do feel okay. There's no movement or anything. So as my saying is, you don't dig up the roots of a tree to find out how the tree is. We know it's okay, but I'm sure it's something to do with this seal here, because apparently these are the ones that would go, compared to the other side that's in oil soaked in the gearbox. So there's several ways of doing this of what I've seen online. You can try and prise them out, but obviously you don't want to be damaging the seat area or the actual crankshaft. So I don't think this is going to work. No, so I'm going to go for plan B on that one. I have seen what people do. They actually tap a small, or just drill a small hole and then put a self tapper in there, and just enough to pull it out. So we're going to go for that idea. Bear with me, I'll get a drill and we'll try and do that without damaging everything or going through to the bearings. Right, we're just going to gently drill a hole in there, so we don't go too deep. Right, don't want that going in the engine either. Right, so now let's get a some sort of a screw that would fit that. Find seams to go in, so I don't want to go too deep either. Hopefully just be enough to catch it. Okay. This is what I've seen online, but that's how it's supposed to work, but you know, my luck. Okay, drop that on there, and hopefully we can pull. Excuse my hand for a minute. There we go. There we go. There we go. So you can see a little bit of oil around the inside there. And there's the bearings. I'll probably oil them a little bit whilst that's out. But they all look clean. Just to lift this up, see if we can get it to. Yeah, they're quite smooth. There's no movement in there. I say it's only 4,500 miles anyway, so Right, so there's the oil seal. I'll just wait for the new one. So we'll just put some oil in there for a moment. Right, on second thoughts, what I mentioned about the stand, I decided I'm going to take that off because where I spilt all that oil the other day, it's all run under there. I can't get to it properly. So let's just do it properly. It's going to take just a bit longer to get it back together. I'll take these two bolts out here. That will just bring that whole bracket off, and then I can sort this one out shortly. So let me just get those two out, and then we get that off. Well, actually, it wasn't what I thought. It's not a bolt all the way through. It's just 4 bolts, and then hopefully that should. There we go. That'll lift off now. As I say, might as well just do it whilst it's off. That's all needs degreasing and what have you. And it gives me a chance now to get under here, which I wouldn't have been able to have done. So to give everything a good clean. Right, I will give that a quick clean now, and then we'll come back. We'll try and get this cover off, and see how we get on from there. Right, okay, so where the stand was, that's clean now, thick oil stuck in there. I tried to polish it up. Sometimes it polishes and it just fades, tarnishes again. I think the main thing is as long as it's clean. So what I'm going to try and do now, we're going to try and get this cover off. The engine, as I say, was never painted when it was new, so but this was the cover. So this could be a nightmare, but we'll see how it goes. I've got to turn the engine up now, so what I'm going to do is just put some little blocks underneath, which hopefully will protect this crankshaft a bit. Something like that anyway. Really we need something up this end. Okay, let me find something for this, and then we can get these screws out. Right, okay, it seems to be stable now. So the first thing we need to do before we can start getting this off is we've got to get this kickstart spring off without it going into your eyes, ripping half your face off. Right, there we go. Oh, that's okay. There we are. So that goes in there and comes out of that one. Okay. Right. I see someone's greased the seal in there as well, but I haven't, because I've got to powder coat it, so I'll have to take that out anyway because it will melt in there. So let me just get some JIS bolts, socket things, and we'll get these out. Right, from experience, I know that these can be stuck, so I'm going to go straight in with the impact driver. Let's see how we go with this one. There we go, see? Number one. Another go. No. Right, from experience, from last time, I think what I had to use was heat these up a little bit, each one, and that seemed to work. Being the engine's not particularly old, you would have, well, it's old, but not used that much, you would have thought it would have, they would have come out all right, but I know that they do sort of semi-season it. So I'll go for some heat for a minute, just see if that works. Well, I don't want to go too mad on this, but just done a little bit around there. See if that does anything. I remember this took ages to get off last time. Right, let's just see. No, still no luck. I'll carry on with the heat again and I'll be back to you shortly. Well, it's about an hour later now, and I've tried every bolt here. I've heated it, used the impact gun thing, tried using pliers to try and mold grips to try and turn it. Whatever happens, it's not working. I think I'm not happy about it, but I think what I'm going to have to do is go down the painting, spray painting this. I was hoping to powder coat it would have looked nice, but you can see here that all the whatever they put on before is all run and everything. So I'm going to have to kind of mask things up a bit and sand all this down, and then I can hopefully mask this up properly, and I'll give this a coat of silver paint or something like that. But as I haven't got any silver paint, but I will. Let's make a start. Try and get this sanded down using the angle grinder with the wire brush on it, and hopefully we can make it look half decent. But if it's taking me all this time to get nothing out, I'm going to be here all day. It's just not worth the hassle. So let's get it sanded down, and I can get it primed hopefully today, and then we get some paint for it. Bit disappointed, but I think you're just stirring up a hornet's nest here. If I get one out, and then it'll take me all day to get the others out if I can. So let's get this sanded down. I'll get some of this all kind of covers over it, the inlets and everything, and we'll get this done. Right, okay, the last thing you saw me was sanding this back. Now it's all nice and clean and acetoned. I've masked it all up, preparing to spray it, and then just as I'd masked it all up outside, what happens, it chucks it down with rain, so I take it inside, cleaned it all up again, got the water off, bring it outside again, it rained again, so it's now outside. It looks like we might be right just for a little while. There are showers about. I was going to spray it, but now I've changed my mind because of this weather, the different putting on the primers and the lacquers afterwards and everything, so not exactly as I wanted to do it, but I've got some smooth silver hammerite and I've got a decent brush. So my plan now is to hammerite this, which is not, as long as it looks smooth and 100% better than before. It's not exactly the way it was planned to go, but we'll see how it comes up. Maybe in time. I just don't know how I can get these bolts out. It's just, you know, if I got one or two out, it'd be a start, but nothing. Everyone was the same. So let's see how this comes up. If it doesn't work, I may have to take it back down again and go for the spraying idea. Okay, right, let's get this, let's see how we get on with this. Right, let's just see how this goes. I don't want brush marks in it. That's the trouble with the hammerite paint, but let's see how we can get on, make this look nice. Right, let me carry on with this. This will be like watching paint dry, and I'll come back to you once it's done. Right, it only needs one coat. It's okay, 100% better than it was, and it's not what I wanted to do, but at least it looks respectable. Should we put it that way? So I'm going to let this dry because I'm back to work shortly. Try and get this out the way somewhere without getting paint everywhere. And at least then I can get on. We're trying, I don't know if we can do it this episode, but I'll try and see if we can clean up the stand as well, so that'll be ready to go back on. So we're still waiting for the bits, the seal and everything, so we'll get this out of the way for now, and then we'll try and carry on with something else. Right, after another couple of hours, I finally got the kickstand, or not what they call it, the centre stand. It's finally sanded down. I've acetoned it, as you know, it was covered in grease and oil, and the little and the bracket here for you know, that it clips onto. Everything went fairly well, apart from I managed to lose a brake, the little rubber stopper as it goes back, but I've managed to source one of them in this country, only about £4, so we can put that back later on. So let's get on. Hopefully something goes right today. Well, lucky enough, at least something has gone right for today. That's actually come up really nice. And then there's the bracket as well. It's come up beautiful. It's cooled down now, but I'll leave it just for a while. And I've got these. I cleaned up the spring and put some ACF50 on that anti-rust stuff, and same as this. And then need a split pin to go on the end there. Once we'll let all this dry properly and cool down. And we'll leave it at that for today. When I come back next time, hopefully we can get that seal in. A few other little bits to sort out. I can get the engine back in then, hopefully, and hopefully that will sort the sort of funny running of the, you know, too much air being sucked in. Maybe I'm just hoping that's my last resort now. Anyway, we call that a day, and we're going to see Jenny. Well, Jenny's not in the garden, she's in the kitchen after food, I think. So not very good light here at the moment. So that'll be it for another week, as I say. We can come back, hopefully get that the seal in, and I can get the kickstand or the centre stand back on and the wheel, and we can get it back in. But I am hoping that does solve the problem, because I really don't know what else it could be. So anyway, we'll see. I think I've gone for about, God knows, the alphabet in plans. But anyway, you take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.